May 4th, 2026, Kolkata. West Bengal has just voted for a change, and it tells a story that has very little to do with roads, jobs, or governance. They tell a story about a border, a river, and the people who cross both. The BJP has secured a majority in West Bengal. Mamata Banerjee, Chief Minister for 15 years, has lost. Delhi BJP President Virendra Sachdeva was explicit about what he believed had driven the result.
अब ममता दीदी तो पिछले 1 साल से आरोप ही लगा रही है, तो उनको आरोप लगाने दीजिए। बंगाल की जनता ने ममता दीदी को भी स्पष्ट संदेश दे दिया है कि कट मनी नहीं चलेगी, महिला सुरक्षा पर समझौता नहीं होगा, अवैध घुसपैठिए नहीं चाहिए, बंगाल को रोजगार चाहिए, बंगाल को शांति चाहिए, बंगाल को प्यार चाहिए, बंगाल को विकास चाहिए, जो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी दे सकते हैं।
Just days before, a Bangladeshi politician's remark went viral.
আমরা এমন একটা রিজিয়নে, আঞ্চলিক একটা অবস্থায়, পৃথিবীর এমন একটা স্থানে আমাদের অবস্থান, যেখানে আমরা অনেকগুলো বাস্তবতার সঙ্গে আমরা জড়িয়ে আছি। এই বাংলাদেশে শরণার্থীদের ঢল নামানো হতে পারে, সেই ধরনের চক্রান্ত আশেপাশে চলছে। মাননীয় স্পিকার, বিভিন্ন জায়গায় রোহিঙ্গারা অলরেডি চলে এসেছে। আবার আমাদের প্রতিবেশী দেশ থেকে আবার যে মুসলমানদেরকে বের করে দিয়ে আমাদের দেশে শরণার্থী হিসেবে ঢল নামানো হবে না, তার কোনো গ্যারান্টি নেই মাননীয় স্পিকার। এই কারণে আমরা এই বাংলাদেশের যারা মানুষেরা আছি, আমাদেরকে একতাবদ্ধ থাকতে হবে। আমরা সেই
India and Bangladesh share a border stretching more than 4,000 kilometers. It is one of the longest in the world. Parts of it are fenced, parts of it are not. And through the parts that are not, through rivers, marshes, and the mangrove forests of the Sundarbans, people, goods, and politics move in ways that neither government fully controls. This is the story of that border. This is the story of one of the most complicated and consequential bilateral relationships in South Asia, and what it means for the future of India-Bangladesh ties. West Bengal has for decades been a left-leaning state. Even under Mamata Banerjee's Trinamool Congress, it remained largely left in its political orientation. The BJP's victory on May 4th has come as a shock to Bengal watchers. 3 interconnected narratives drove the BJP's campaign: the treatment of Bangladeshi Hindus after the fall of the Sheikh Hasina government, the consolidated voting of the Matua community that traces its roots to modern-day Bangladesh, and the fear of illegal Bangladeshi immigrants changing the demographic composition of the state. In December 2025, a massive protest took place outside the Bangladesh Deputy High Commission in Kolkata, demanding justice for Dipu Chandra Das, a Hindu garment worker who was lynched and set on fire by a mob in Bangladesh. Attacks on Hindus in Bangladesh had made global news and raised political temperatures in West Bengal. After news of Das's murder spread, protesters attempted to break through barricades, triggering clashes with police outside the Bangladesh mission in Kolkata. Suvendu Adhikari streamlined his campaign around the claim that there are 1.25 crore illegal immigrants on West Bengal's voter rolls, arguing that Banerjee's administration had allowed this to happen. The BJP's campaign framed illegal Muslim immigration from Bangladesh as an electoral threat, a way of giving Banerjee's vote bank an unfair advantage. A state that had long kept the Hindu-Muslim binary out of its electoral narrative could no longer do so. The BJP has won, and the illegal immigrant question, long simmering, has now become the defining prism through which India views its relationship with its eastern neighbor. Here is what makes the illegal immigration debate so complicated: the border itself. India's 4,096-kilometer border with Bangladesh runs through West Bengal, Tripura, Assam, Meghalaya, and Mizoram. New Delhi has fenced nearly 3,000 kilometers of that border, but the remaining stretches include marshy and riverine areas with local populations living on either side. So, what does India do with the sections it cannot fence? India's Border Security Force issued an internal communication dated March 26th, ordering personnel at its headquarters on the eastern and northeastern fronts to explore the feasibility of deploying reptiles in vulnerable riverine gaps. The BSF has floated a plan to introduce apex predators, crocodiles, and venomous snakes into riverine stretches to act as natural deterrents against undocumented migration and smuggling. The Crocodile Plan tells you everything about India's desperation to seal a border that geography refuses to cooperate with. It also tells you how politically charged this question has become. When you are discussing deploying crocodiles as border guards, the conversation has moved well beyond rational policy. Set against this charged domestic backdrop, India and Bangladesh have been attempting something genuinely difficult, a diplomatic reset. The BNP, led by Tariq Rahman, won the 13th general election on 12th of February 2026. Given the party's history of difficult ties with New Delhi, questions immediately arose about the future trajectory of the relationship. Yet Bangladesh Foreign Minister Khalilur Rahman's visit to India from 7 to 9 April suggests the early contours of a diplomatic thaw. As his first official overseas visit after taking office, the trip underscored the importance Dhaka attaches to New Delhi. Rahman held meetings with External Affairs Minister Jaishankar, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal, Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Rahman described the experience as one of diplomatic convergence, with both countries willing to engage, talk, and take initiatives, normalizing ties slowly but surely. The energy dimension is particularly revealing. Bangladesh relies on the Middle East for nearly 63% of its crude oil. The disruptions to fuel flows through the Strait of Hormuz amid the US-Iran war have aggravated energy shortages already caused by the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The BNP government has adopted power-conserving measures, including university closures and daily fuel sale restrictions, with a prolonged war threatening to reduce Bangladesh's GDP by nearly 3% in coming years. Dhaka urgently needs alternatives. Khalilur Rahman specifically sought increased refined oil imports via the India-Bangladesh Friendship Pipeline from India's Numaligarh refinery in Assam, a pipeline inaugurated in 2023 but halted during the period of strained ties with the interim government. Petroleum Minister Puri indicated the request would be considered readily and favorably after domestic requirements were met. The reset has a third dimension that India is watching with particular anxiety: what Bangladesh does with China. China has made moves close to India's most sensitive land corridor, with Bangladesh's help. The Chinese ambassador visited the Teesta River project near the Siliguri corridor, India's so-called Chicken's Neck, the narrow strip of land connecting India's northeast to the rest of the country. The Siliguri corridor is approximately 20 to 22 kilometers at its narrowest section. Nepal and Bangladesh lie on each side. Any disturbance in this corridor could obstruct access to 8 northeastern states, a humanitarian and security crisis of the first order. India's national security apparatus remains highly vigilant regarding the Siliguri corridor due to Bangladesh's rejuvenated ties with Pakistan and China's existing investments and possible future cooperation. India has been enhancing military infrastructure in the region as part of a deterrence and rapid response strategy. For India, a Bangladesh that is simultaneously seeking energy cooperation from New Delhi while allowing Chinese diplomats to inspect infrastructure near the Chicken's Neck is not a comfortable partner. It is a geopolitical puzzle that the new BJP government in West Bengal and the Modi government in New Delhi are both going to have to manage. The Bangladesh relationship now sits at the intersection of several unresolved and deeply uncomfortable questions. The extradition question. Bangladesh reiterated its demand for the return of former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, who has been in India since August 2024. The Yunus administration had formally sought her extradition following her conviction by Bangladesh's International Tribunal. India has remained publicly cautious, treating the matter with restraint while attempting to prevent it from overwhelming cooperation in other sectors. The water question. The Ganga Water Treaty signed in 1996 is due for renegotiation this year. Bangladesh argues it has not consistently received its fair share during critical dry spells, that the treaty needs climate adaptation provisions, and that proactive flood management needs to be incorporated. India maintains it has remained compliant with the agreement. This is a negotiation with both practical consequences and deep political symbolism for both governments. And the illegal immigration question, which the West Bengal election has just forced to the top of the agenda, in a way that neither government can ignore. The border between India and Bangladesh is not just a line on a map. It is a living, breathing, perpetually contested space where history, demography, religion, geopolitics, and two countries' futures intersect. And right now, India does not have enough fences, enough crocodiles, or enough diplomacy to manage all of it simultaneously.